There's still tension in Leicester after the weekend communal clash in the British town. A total of 47 people have been arrested. Videos of the clash showed masked men banging on people's windows in Hindu-majority areas and pulling down a saffron flag and religious decorations. Others were seen marching down predominantly Muslim-populated streets chanting Jai Shri Ram. The tension spilled onto Smethwick on Tuesday. About 100 people gathered outside the Durga Bhavan temple in Smethwick in West Midlands.
The people who are doing the agitation and the stirring and the violence have got to be accountable. The police have got to bring them to book. Innocent people have been frightened in their homes, they've been frightened on the streets. Now, I've heard very clearly that a lot of these agitators are not from Leicester.
The twist in the tale of Leicester's story has come with the information that the person who disrespected the Indian flag, and this is where the entire situation was turned, is neither from Muslim nor from the Hindu community. This information comes from eyewitnesses as well as community leaders and some of the senior politicians of the city. Now the question is, when the person is of neither community, then why are these two communities fighting? A lot of it is possibly rolling or is to be blamed on, so to say, fake news and the social media activity that went out after the Asia Cup disruption happened on the 28th of August. And it so happens that people who were going for Ganpati Puja in a specific house were targeted, and then their mob mentality took over. Both the communities were seen head-to-head, and the police were short on resources and could not control the situation quite so well as we have been told by those involved. It's a very critical situation that absolutely needs being addressed, and more so from the authorities. The community leaders are working to bring some semblance, but I think really that peace will come, healing will happen when justice is brought forth to the people who have caused all of this, even though there was a lot of mob mentality involved, and also to find out who was the person who started it all by disrespecting the flag. That's really where the buck stops. Lavina Tandon for India Today from Leicester.
Joining us now on this broadcast is Nitin Lodhia, a security personnel who was an eyewitness to the Leicester clash. Nitin, first, what can you tell us about what really happened right there at Smethwick?
I've been going to this temple for some 20 years. What I saw yesterday, along with many other devotees, was shocking and horrifying, and very unfortunate by any standard. There were a group of some 200 to 300 people outside the temple wall chanting Allahu Akbar. Their body language was very aggressive and very abusive. Devotees, some 30 to 40 within the compound, Mandir walls, were in a state of shock and speechless. There were other faith leaders from Muslim community as well as Christian communities and the Sikh community as well. And they all are witness to what is happening or what was happening there.
Nitin, was there any provocation from the temple or the Hindus that prompted this conduct?
That there was no abuse of any kind or provocation by the Mandir devotees. The police had a real difficult job controlling the crowd as they were pushing simply because of the sheer number.
All right, so India Today just spoke to the eyewitness. Thanks so much, Nitin, for joining us on this broadcast. Nitin says that there was no provocation whatsoever from the temple or the Hindus. Geeta Mohan is joining us for the very latest on this. Geeta, if you could tell us a little more about what you're picking up in terms of what's going on in Leicester and Smethwick. How did this even all begin and spiral into what we see now?
Well, the Leicester Police, Chaiti, certainly on high alert when it comes to the two communities clashing against each other. But there is a history to this, and it started in August since the Indo-Pak match, is what we've been told. Tensions were heightened. There were a certain amount of provocation from both sides. Now, this eyewitness that you just spoke with is speaking of the recent incident of the vandalization of a Hindu temple, but there were rallies that were carried out by certain communities, a Hindu community in Muslim areas as well. Rallies cannot be considered provocation, but certainly that was considered provocation from the other side, and there have been there has been a lot of tension between the two sides since the cricket match. So Leicester Police over here keeping a watch on what is happening, but things can take a violent turn even if the police is on high alert, Chaiti, and that's what's really happened. Now, we do know that External Affairs Minister Jaishankar on the sidelines of the UNGA summit in New York is meeting with various leaders. He also met with his British counterpart, Cleverly, and the matter was raised with the British side on concerns regarding the safety and security of Indian community or people for that matter of Indian origin, and security and safety was assured from the British side. Remember, there has been an investigation that has been carried out. Action was taken. Reports of 2 arrests already been made. So, Chaiti, they are moving forward. They are on high alert. But again, these are communal tensions that we are seeing in the United Kingdom between communities, Hindus and Muslims. But
thanks,
also,
Geeta, for joining us with those details.